Hello everyone, I'm Rodney from 3GameMan.com, and today I'm having a look at a brand new case from InWim. It is their 805. This thing looks like really nothing else that's currently on the market. All aluminum, tempered glass, comes in 3 different color options. You've got radiator support on this. You'll see, it's quite incredible. It's packaged really well with quality styrofoam on the corners, and the case itself is in a cloth bag. In the plastic bag, they include a user's manual as well as cable ties, hooks for organizing cables, and screws and whatnot for installing the components. Also, they include a headphone hanger. Just look at this. It is drop dead gorgeous. It's a combination of aluminum and tempered glass. The tempered glass is on the left side panel, the right side panel, and the front panel. And by the way, it is 3 millimeters thick. Now this is a mid-tower case and measures in at 476 by 205 by 455 millimeters. Okay, so let's start at the top. This is entirely brushed aluminum, looks just fantastic. At the top front, very conveniently located, are 2 USB 2 ports, a USB 3 port, as well as a USB 3.1 port, the audio jacks, a power button, and the status LEDs. You'll find no 5 1/4 inch drive bays in this case. The front is just sheer elegance. As I mentioned, the left side panel and the right side panel is completely tempered glass. Note the 4 thumb screws, and they also have rubber washers here just on the inside. At the back of the case, they include one 120mm exhaust fan. Here's where the motherboard's IO shield plate gets installed. There are 8 expansion slots, and at the bottom you can install a standard ATX power supply. At the bottom there's 4 rubber feet, and note that these 2 pieces are plastic. They also include a magnetic dust filter. To remove the left and right side panels, simply take off the 4 thumb screws and carefully lift it off. This case fits ATX, micro ATX, and mini ITX form factor motherboards. Note the large hole on the motherboard tray for the cooler's retention plate. There's also other holes here for routing cables behind the motherboard tray. And by the way, there's plenty of space behind the motherboard tray and the right side panel. But here's a bit of an issue. The right side panel is glass. So are you going to see what you tuck back there? A big deal? No, not so much, especially if you get a power supply that has flat, flexible leads. It should be pretty hidden if you do that, and if you do, a really nice, tidy job. Now, you're not going to be able to fit a lot of 3.5 inch drives in this case, just 2. These are plastic rails. Installation is a snap. Just pull this out, mount the drive on it, and put it in. You can also fit 2.5 inch drives on this if need be, and another 2.5 inch drive can also be installed on this bracket at the very top. And by the way, this entire cage can be taken out of the case. You can also fit 3 more 2.5 inch drives on 3 brackets that are behind the motherboard tray. 2 here and 1 at the top. Okay, so what about cooling? Well, let's start at the front. You can fit either 2 120mm or 2 140mm fans. And by the way, there's a bracket. This is held into place with 2 thumb screws. It just comes out and goes back very, very easily. Also here, you can fit either a 120, a 140, 240, or 280mm radiator. And with the drive cage removed, you can fit 2 120mm fans at the bottom. Now this is different, and they give you a warning. When installing the power supply, install it with the fan on the top, not on the bottom, which you would normally do because there's no ventilation down here. Is this an issue? No, not really, as long as you have excellent air circulation inside of the case. Now with a case that's so polished, you'd figure that they'd have some kind of fancy toolless design, or at least thumb screws on the expansion slots, but no, just regular screws. Oh, and by the way, the 3-pin fan lead is flat and flexible and has a pass-through. Okay, so let's go through the video card and power supply length as well as the cooler height. Well, you can fit a video card that is up to around 320mm in length, probably a little bit longer, it depends on what you're doing here. Plus, at the bottom, pretty much the same length for the power supply, but it depends on whether you have this drive cage installed or not. As for cooler height, you can fit a cooler that is up to 156 millimeters in height. Aside from the fact that this is expensive and it's really a fingerprint and dust magnet, right, with all of these tempered glass panels, but overall it's just astounding. The styling is exceptional on it. Lots of water cooling options on the inside, plenty of room to install hardware as well. I think it's one of those cases that will stand out amongst everything else, at least currently it will. Just exceptional. I give InWin top marks for styling on this. It's very refreshing to see it in this particular category. Overall, this is a 100% kick-ass product. Until next time, take care. Well, that's it, but I hope you enjoyed the review, and if you think this and other videos that I produce are great, please like them and subscribe to the channel. Also, your comments are very welcome, and if you have any questions, let me know.